Hi everyone, so here's something new I wanted to share. I call it some kind of hybrid error diffusion dithering mode that I made. It's basically a combination of Atkinson dithering and Floyd Steinberg dithering. So the way it works is that it uses Floyd Steinberg dithering for images, like you can see here. They retain the lightness quite well, even in dark pictures like this. But for text and for UI, it's using Atkinson dithering. So you can see here that the text is pretty sharp, and even if there's some background here that's solid colors, it's quite well readable, and all the UI in the background stays kind of clean and white here. If you would just use Floyd Steinberg, you would see some visual grains here. It actually works pretty well also on videos, I found out. I mean, we're still here on EINK, so don't expect anything too crazy, but it's well visible and well lookable at. And what's behind that is also the gate I made, so it's just dithering live pixels that are changing. So when I move my mouse over here, it's not producing like a kume tail to the bottom right like I had before, because it's just dithering the area here around the mouse. And you can see here now, that's pretty nice. The small trail here that's visible, but in reality, while using it, it's like almost not visible. So I don't really see it as a downside. And you can see quite well in images like this here that this area here at the top, you've got some white clouds and some blue stuff, and it's all dithering with Floyd Steinberg and not going into the Atkinson like intended. So I can show it here inside the settings that I made. Just adjust the camera a little bit, go a little bit closer so you can see it better. Okay, so here we go. I made some setting, like in a dither tab here, where I can change the amount of Atkinson that's going in. So if I put this to 1, it's gonna basically only use Floyd Steinberg. And if I put it to 32 here, this is like the threshold at which amount of difference is deciding if it's using Atkinson or Floyd Steinberg. We're going to see here in the dark areas at the top, in the black areas, and also here, the whole image is going to get a lot darker because it's just using more Atkinson. And that's because Atkinson is throwing away some error and not retaining all of the lightness. I made some classifier here where you can see it pretty well. So basically the white areas, that's where it's using Atkinson, and the black areas is that where it's using Floyd Steinberg. If I go back to my default setting, that's 8, you will see it's going to get a lot more black. So all this here is Floyd Steinberg now. And just the UI is Atkinson. So here, the texts and the UI, that's where it stays at Atkinson. And if I go all the way to 1, basically the whole image is going to be kind of black. So this is almost pure Floyd Steinberg. And my sweet spot I found was around 8. So this means most of the images and kind of gradients and stuff like that, they're going to be Floyd Steinberg, but the UI is going to stay in Atkinson, which just cleans up the whole experience of browsing and using the computer pretty well. So I don't know if you can see it here. This is basically normal Floyd Steinberg, with the kind of worms that you can see that create naturally. And here at the top is a very, very clean UI because it's using Atkinson and not producing a lot of grain. Here at the very top, you can see just a little bit, but if I do a full refresh, it's also going to clean up this pretty nicely. So in my experience, for normal browsing of the web, this is it's a pretty cool setup, I think, because it makes just the whole experience of the UI pretty clean. So you can see here the blacks over here, they stay really black, and the whites stay white, but the text is readable, and the images, they are kind of they're kind of still showing, even dark images that are Floyd Steinberg. You can still see pretty well the details. Yeah, so that's just some dithering algo I've been working on, and I think it works very well for everyday tasks. And this is still quite shaky at the moment, but I already have the idea how to make it rock solid at 60 Hertz. I'm using some slanted approach, which I'm working on, and hopefully I can get it production ready until December when the unit's shipping. So then you can just decide if you want to try out this dither algo and put it on your motor's flow, or stay with the factory defaults. That's what's cool about open source. Everybody can just decide by himself.